the biggest fish in the world. It's so big that it can swallow a full-grown human. And no one has ever seen or caught one of these before. This fish is called a mole. It's also known as the little tuna. That name might throw you off a bit because when you think of a tuna, you imagine a fairly small fish, right? But this is not the case with the mole. In fact, some of these guys are over 30 feet long. To put that into perspective, that's longer than a great white shark. And just like sharks, they are also very dangerous. When this fish opens its mouth, it's like a hungry black hole that will swallow anything that comes near it. Just imagine being on the water, and then all of a sudden you see a giant mola coming towards you. Its gigantic mouth would probably scare the living daylight out of you. These monsters have been around since the dinosaurs were alive, and they haven't really changed much since then. They live deep in the ocean where no sunlight can reach. This is why no one has ever seen one of these before. And if you're wondering what they eat, just about anything. Their mouths are so big that they can swallow a whole bunch of smaller fish at once. They don't discriminate either. Even things like turtles and dolphins are on the menu. And yes, even humans. So how do we know that they can grow to be so big if no one has ever seen one? Well, there are remains of some pretty big fish that have washed up on shore from time to time. Then there's the giant squid. This thing is so big that it can take down a sperm whale. And the only reason why we believe that the mola can get to this size is because of its extremely large mouth. I mean, just look at this thing. It's actually scary. It's not entirely clear how big the biggest fish ever got, but some people say that it was nearly the size of a blue whale. As you probably already know, the blue whale is the biggest animal that has ever lived on Earth. So if the mola was anywhere close to this size, then it would definitely be the biggest fish that has ever existed. But we may never know for sure, because they live deep in the ocean where no one can see them. But wait, this isn't the biggest fish on our list. Number 9, the ocean sunfish. Now, this is a fish that most people have heard of. And it's also known as It's one of the largest bony fish in the sea, and the heaviest. It can weigh over 5,000 pounds and reach a maximum length of 11 feet. Even though the mola is gigantic, they still have enemies. There are even species of isopods that make their home inside of the mola. Yes, these things are parasites that feed off of the fat and muscle of this large fish. They can live in other large sea creatures like sharks, whales, and even squid. But they are definitely more common in the mola. These sunfish are found all over the world, but mostly in temperate and tropical waters. You might spot one near the surface of the water, especially during the day. Because they like to bask in the sun, when night falls, they go deeper into the ocean to look for food. The mola is an excellent swimmer despite its huge body. Its strong tail helps it cruise through the water at 25 miles per hour. Number 8, the whale shark. If you thought the mola was huge, just wait until you see the whale shark. This is the largest shark species in the world. Despite its massive size, it feeds almost exclusively on plankton. That's right! This enormous shark is a filter feeder. And even though it's the biggest shark species, it's actually not the most dangerous. It's very unlikely that a whale shark would ever attack a human. If you did get attacked by one, though, you'd probably die because it could easily tear you apart with its sharp teeth. A whale shark can reach a maximum length of 40 feet and weigh around 47,000 pounds. You can find these sharks in both salt and fresh water. They prefer warmer waters and tend to migrate to where the water temperature is around 77 degrees Fahrenheit. Even though they're mostly plankton, they will occasionally eat other fish. This is usually because they accidentally eat a school of fish while feeding on plankton. Number 7, the basking shark. Now this is another shark that feeds on plankton, and like the whale shark, it's also the second largest shark in the world. Only the whale shark is bigger. It's not quite as big as the whale shark. The longest basking shark ever recorded was 32 feet long, and the heaviest one weighed 12,600 600 pounds. They're usually pretty easy to identify. All you need to do is look at the mouth. It's extremely wide and basically takes up the entire front half of their body. If you saw one swimming towards you, you'd have no doubt that it was a basking shark. It looks like something straight out of the Cretaceous period. Like most sharks, basking sharks are apex predators, but they're also quite lazy. They tend to swim around slowly and don't chase after their prey. Instead, they passively filter the plankton out of the water. And even though they're huge, they're not considered dangerous to humans. No. 6. The Japanese lantern shark. We've said it before and we'll say it again. Sharks come in all shapes and sizes. Some are tiny, and some are absolutely gigantic. The Japanese lantern shark is one of the largest shark species in the world. It can reach a maximum length of 23 feet and weigh around 3,000 pounds. If you're one of those people who's afraid of sharks, then this is the one that you should fear most. That is, of course, if you ever go swimming in the northern Pacific Ocean. This is where these guys live, and you're very unlikely to find one anywhere else. Even though the Japanese lantern shark is a carnivore, it doesn't hunt other sea creatures. Instead, it feeds on the dead bodies of marine mammals and fish. They're also scavengers and often fight with hagfish over dead carcasses. And if you're wondering why we chose the picture of a great white, it's because no one has ever taken a picture of a Japanese lantern shark. And the only people who have ever seen one were terrified and couldn't get a good look at it. Number 5. The giant squid. Up until recently, people believed that giant squid were nothing but a myth. Most of the time when fishermen would tell stories of these colossal creatures, no one would believe them. People assumed that they were exaggerating to make themselves sound cooler. But then, in 2004, a giant squid washed up on the shore of New Zealand. People were able to confirm that it was real and that they weren't just some fisherman's tall tale. And just a few years later, another giant squid washed up on the shore, this time in 2007. These things are truly enormous. They can grow to be 43 feet long and weigh 2,500 pounds. If you're ever in the open ocean and see a giant squid, then just get out of the water as fast as possible. The last thing you want to do is stick around and find out what it's like to be dinner. In case you're wondering, the best place to spot a giant squid is in the northern Atlantic Ocean. That's where most of them have been spotted and caught. Scientists estimate that the largest squid ever recorded was around 66 feet long. That's about the size of a school bus. No. 4. The mammoth. Now this is a creature that no one has ever seen in the wild, but we have plenty of fossils to prove that they did exist. They were first discovered in the Arctic back in 1869. And since then, paleontologists have found many more in Antarctica, Greenland, and New Zealand. Mammoths were huge. The average male was around 30 feet long, but some grew to be much larger. Scientists believe that the largest mammoth ever recorded was around 55 feet long. This was about the size of a blue whale. Back in 2009, some Chinese fishermen claimed that they had captured a giant fish in the South China Sea. Some people believe that it was but others think that it was a giant prehistoric fish that somehow survived until modern times. They nicknamed the fish Big Mama. And according to the fishermen, it was around 40 feet long and looked like a cross between a tuna and a shark. There's no evidence to prove that this fish actually existed, but that hasn't stopped people from talking about it. No. 3. The Kraken. The Kraken is a mythological monster that lurks off the coast of Norway. It was said to be the size of an island and was capable of swallowing entire ships and smashing them to pieces. The locals described it as having a gigantic octopus-like body and rows upon rows of sharp teeth. For years, people believed that the Kraken was nothing but a myth. Then, in 1873, a French explorer claimed to have seen one. He said that he spotted one while sailing through the Norwegian Sea. And even though no one has ever seen one, many scientists believe that the Kraken did exist. Giant squid are often used as inspiration for the Kraken, and we already know that they can grow to be 43 feet long. But what if the kraken was even bigger? What if it was the size of a small island? If that were the case, then it could easily destroy entire ships and devour the crews. No. 2. The prehistoric fish. There was a time back in history when the oceans were filled with gigantic sea creatures. Take the megalodon, for example. This was an enormous shark that reached a maximum length of 60 feet. It was around 10 times bigger than today's great white shark. Then there was the Leviathan, which was a type of ick. It was even bigger than the megalodon and reached a maximum length of 85 feet. It was basically an underwater whale monster and was one of the apex predators of the Jurassic period. Now, even though these creatures are no longer with us, scientists believe that there's still some giant sea monsters lurking in the deepest parts of the ocean. In fact, some people believe that the mola mola is a type of prehistoric fish that somehow managed to survive until today. No. 1. The biggest fish ever. Back in 2003, a group of fishermen off the coast of Japan were shocked when they hauled in a giant fish. They didn't know what it was, so they took a picture of it and then threw it back into the water. Looking back at the picture, experts believe that it was a mola mola. It was estimated to be around 30 feet long and weigh around 15,000 pounds. That's heavier than an elephant and about the same length as a Tyrannosaurus rex. Unfortunately, the fishermen didn't catch it, so we can't be 100% sure what kind of fish it was. But the vast majority of experts agree that it was a mola. Click here to watch one of these next videos and let us know in the comments who would win in a fight, the mola mola or the megalodon.